Hey guys, Syph here with another Rift free-to-play video. Decided to show some dungeon action. A lot of people have been wondering how the PvE is in the game, and I know it's a low-level dungeon, but this will give you a idea of what you'll be experiencing in low-level dungeons and just kind of overall feel of the dungeon system. About a 30-minute queue. Of course, I queued DPS. This is kind of a unique dungeon. I know a lot of the veteran Rift players hate this dungeon. I've been watching a lot of live streams and they all hate this one, especially on the harder difficulty setting. But yeah, this is just a normal dungeon. But yeah, it didn't go like ridiculously smooth. We had a new tank. All these guys are from the same guild. They were from a PvE server and they got me cross server. So we did wipe a few times, which kind of surprised me because I'm so used to easy mode WoW dungeons. Especially non-heroic versions. You just blow through those and don't have to worry about mechanics. But several of the bosses have key interrupts and movement and different objects you have to kill in order to be successful, or the boss just one-shots you. So there's definitely some hard mechanics. I would say that even in the normal modes, I'm sure it's ridiculous in the harder difficulty settings. And everybody likes to do this little jump right here. It just bypasses a lot. I've been watching everybody do it on live streams too. Everybody just bypasses a bunch of ads doing this jump. But yeah, this is kind of a unique dungeon. But most of the dungeons I've done about 3 or 4 after this one, and I've enjoyed all of them, and they all have a little bit of learning curve and some mechanics, and I'm sure it'll get progressively harder the more difficulty settings. But yeah, definitely they are more difficult, but I think they're more fun. They're more enjoyable. The loot's not too great in this one. As you see, there's a boss that we get to fight in the giant robot suits. It was awesome. But the loot is not too great just because I was, so much higher level. I was like 3 levels over this dungeon. But yeah, I'm not 200% sure on the higher end dungeons how scarce or how good the loot is. But yeah, everyone I've done, all the boss encounters have been fun, unique. Not really tank and spank, boring like in WoW, or at least from the dungeons I've seen. I've seen about 5 dungeons now on their normal difficulty settings, and I got a significant, challenge out of each one. Some kind of mechanic that the DPS had to do, or not just tanks or healer critical fights. There's definitely ones that you'll see later on the last boss where it's kind of a DPS race to destroy these orbs, or the boss just one-shots everybody. So there's definitely, like, I don't know, it almost feels like raid mechanics brought into dungeons, and that may be a good and a bad thing, because some people may hate it and just want their easy tank and spank dungeons to get gear and then have that experience in their raids. But I'm sure if there's a little bit of signs of it in this lower end dungeon content, you'll definitely see a huge majority of those mechanics in the higher scale dungeons. But yeah, the difficulty a lot greater than WoW normal dungeons. But yeah, I find that it was a lot more fun than WoW dungeons just because of that challenge. We wiped about 4 times, and we may not have wiped, if we had a new tank, the healer said. So we may have not wiped as much if we had, like a tank that had been tanking, a long time, or done this instance a couple of times. But yeah, the DPS, probably about 2 out of the 3 of these fights were kind of challenging. This fight was just really avoid AoE on the ground, and it was just kind of cool because you got to use the robots and avoid stuff. And you see that it's like a holograph, kind of like something you would see out of WildStar or another game. I guess Netherwinter has a lot of holographs on the ground too. But those are the 2 games that come to mind with that system, and it kind of surprised me that Rift had kind of the same system for the bosses. You don't see that really on any other NPCs other than in the dungeons. But yeah, these first two fights are just, I think they're really just for the fun of it, you know, not really anything critical that you have to watch out for. It's just kind of mastering your robot and avoiding these holographs on the ground that you know you didn't want to stand in something. But yeah, pretty cool fight here. Just get to fly around on the robot, get to destroy stuff. Some of the later fights, the next one I was talking about, if you miss the interrupt, basically it one-shot everybody in the ordeal, in the radius. So that's more, you know, DPS oriented. You have to be on top of interrupts, and um, you know, so if you're a PvE player, I would definitely suggest logging in the Rift. You're gonna have plenty of, you know, new experience. I would say dungeoning. I've done so much PvE in WoW. I've done all the raids, and it kind of reminded me of like a lot of raid and mini raid mechanics in the dungeons. Um, so if you enjoy like small scale, you know, dungeons that kind of a raid, you know, as far as difficulty and, you know, stuff like that, you'll really enjoy these dungeons. And I'm sure the higher level, like the heroic versions, will give you even more of a challenge. And then I hear the rating has a 10-man tier, which is not too bad, and then even a more difficult 25. It may not be 25, maybe 20 difficulty setting. Um, so definitely give it a shot. It's you know, I would say I wouldn't say it's complete. The game has, you know, a lot of PvE or a lot of PvP. It's definitely leaning towards more PvE. Rift does have some really good PvP, just a lot of less crowd controls and a lot of stuff like that. But I wouldn't say the game's geared towards it. Um, but that doesn't mean, you know, not to log in PvP. It's still a blast and definitely something new with the PvP. A lot less CCs. You do have a little bit of leaderboards and rankings, which are really fun to try to move up your ranking each week. Also, the PvE content has leaderboards and rankings for kills and accomplishments. So you'll find a good variety, enough PvP to satisfy most of the hardcore PvP players, and you'll have enough, really plenty of PvE. There's so much to do. All these dungeons, instance adventures. You'll have a, you know, a good variety to pick from leveling up. Um, so yeah, this is just a look at some of the dungeons. I know a lot of you were asking about the PvE content, or at least some of the bosses in this dungeon. But I'll try and do another PvE video. I also want to do some PvP content. I'm almost level 60. I want to show some more PvP content as Tempest and my AoE tank build. So those videos will be coming out soon. Ask any questions you want about Rift Free to Play in the comments, and if you like the video, of course, you can thumbs it up. But yeah, if you would like to see another dungeon or me run through another scenario, just leave a comment. Or if you're mainly wanting to see PvP, different builds and stuff, those videos will be coming out soon. As soon as I hit 60, hopefully in the next few days. I'm going to leave you with the last boss, and you'll kind of see the mechanic, how I was talking about how you had to race the orbs to DPS. Wiped twice on this, just because inexperience basically with the whole group. But hope you guys enjoyed this Rift Free to Play video, and I will be coming out with a new video soon.
on the tower and your vision will begin immediately, my prince. I'm glad you're with us again.
Godspeed, Batua. Ascended, thank you for freeing me. Once we locate the stronghold in my vision, your courage will be needed again. That frozen tempest of